Hey guys, Mark Allen, BH Spring Solutions LLC, bhspringsolutions.com, and it is September 2022. And even though it doesn't look like it right now, very soon cold weather is going to be here, and a lot of us, I think even my BH Spring Solutions co-founder Slav, kind of subscribes to the same kind of strategy when cold weather starts coming, and that is we tend to lean into the 45 ACP on the idea that bad guys wear layers and layers and layers of clothing too, and that a larger diameter hole has a better effectiveness than a smaller diameter hole going through layers and layers and layers of clothing. So
this video is just a quick explanation of why some people prefer the 45 ACP you see on the left there as compared to the 9mm on the right in the deep winter time when even bad guys wear 4, 5, 6 layers of clothes, big heavy coats and so forth. On the right's a 9mm. You see the diameter opening there. The theory is that can tend to load up with clothing fibers faster than the bullet on the left, and that would, I guess, kind of stand to reason. When one of these loads up with material in the cavity that is intended as part of what makes the round expand, basically you have ball ammunition at that point. 45 ACP is considered an adequate defensive round, even in ball ammunition form. So that's probably my best, quickest reasoning, for why I personally favor a 45 ACP as compared to a 9mm in deep winter weather. BH Spring Solutions co-founder Slav Baruchiev, he explained it this way, because there is much less chance of the bullet, the 45 ACP, to show over penetration and exit the target and hit someone that doesn't need to be hit, and by staying in the target provides the whole bullet energy transfer to the target, allowing the bullet to release its full potential. And I don't disagree with that, and it's also an extremely valid point. In the United States, we use expanding ammunition a lot for that reason, and that is to guard against over penetration. We don't need to shoot the neighbor's dog in the apartment next door. So yeah, there's a couple of rationales, reasons why many folks who employ a defensive handgun often rely on the 45 ACP in those deep winter months.
So that's kind of the subject today. It's also been one of the reasons for our series, The Science of the Short Barrel 1911 and 45 ACP. And that series and that study of the short barrel 1911s spawned several different new products at BH Spring Solutions. And that's what this video is about, is just sharing with you kind of the hows and the whys the products have evolved, that have evolved. One place that we've evolved our product line is in the gun grips, in the 1911 grips. And we've taken this a little different direction than we've gone with grips in the past, and it was specifically for this subject of the short barrel 1911, and particularly their popularity. The popularity of the short barrel 1911s is very well known in the firearms community today. That is a very concealable package in a 3-inch barrel, 45 ACP. I can carry 8 rounds, and just the smallest width that you're going to find in a 45 ACP handgun. The 1911 has it. Part of our reason for starting the Science of the Short Barrel 1911 and the study that we started was, can we get these short barrel 1911s reliable? And we have succeeded now several times. We'll be talking a little bit about that. That's brought about some new spring products as well. However, the subject about the grips and the grip hold and acquisition of the short barrel 1911 is based on a couple of fundamentals, and those fundamentals being that if you are ever forced to deploy a defensive handgun, the probability is you will need to deploy and use one-handed in order to be effective. So that being the statistical probability, that brings us to the subject of fast holster acquisition. But I want to show you this. We consider this kind of a BHAdvanced concept, and the concept is this, is I want a grip combination that when I access in a holster one-handed, deploy and extend, I want to see affirmatively that the slide and the barrel are in line with my forearm. In other words, not, you know, like this or like this. And that has a lot to do with the circumference or around the grip frame, your unique hand size, your dimensions of your hand, and how your hand engages the grip frame plus the grips upon deholstering. And this is not a this is just not a one-size-fits-all proposition. And in order to find optimal for, frankly, all of us, the more options that you have, the more ways that you can use a modular approach to the grip hold, which we're going to be talking about, the more chances you have of finding optimal, so that when you engage in a holster and you extend, again, the importance is I want to see alignment of the slide, which means the barrel, with my forearm extended with the elbow locked. And the grip combination that I get confident with. Another side note about this subject. The probability is also, if you ever have to deploy defensively, not only using one-handed, but the probability that you will not have time to affirmatively, effectively sight in a target. These things, the reputation for these events is fast and over in a matter of a couple of seconds usually. At least that's what we read as far as statistical probabilities. So again, that puts the emphasis on a grip hold that creates affirmative alignment, so that when I point my arm or I point my trigger finger, I'm pointing directly at the subject or at the target. So that's really the why for the grips product that you're gonna be seeing. We're going to be showing you here just real quickly here on the table some examples. One product that we've added is a Pierce Grip product. This is a product made in the United States, and the product looks like this. You've got two rubber grip panels and an under grip that provides your front strap finger grooves. And when those two are used together, they look like that. And I can tell you that is as Packmeyerish, if I can say that, of a grip hold, but I find it to be quite superior, and it creates a very soft shooting gun, but it also is a very affirmative grip hold all the way around the gun. One of the great advantages of this product that is available in both full size and in for your compact size, for your officers and defender size models, is this product is usable with the side panels only. For example, this Magnum Research has front grip strap stippling, I guess, and also on the back strap, and that's quite affirmative. It's actually very aggressive. And I can use these panels by themselves, and that is a compelling kind of a grip hold. I have found myself leaning away from this scenario, and I'm going to show you why right here in the camera. Can you see the stippling in my fingers and all the marks from all those little dots? What I have found is this is, you know, you can see it. Those are sharp. That's not without somewhat of a downside too, in that I have found myself possibly not holding the gun as tightly in my hand as I may otherwise if I was up against a more comfortable surface, and that has led us to
this kind of a profile where you have definite affirmative grip on that front strap, and it makes sense to the fingers. And also the rubber grip panels, your 1911s commonly come with a mainspring housing that also has some grippiness to it as well. Another product that this has spawned, I call these the 1911 working grips. And one of the things that this front strap does is this adds an option for any grip panels you happen to have in a box somewhere. One of the things about affirmative grip hold on the 1911, take a look at the frame. The frame is rectangular. Take a look at my hand and the shape that it makes. It's kind of like a backwards letter C, but it's not rectangular, it's round. In other words, that's what my hand likes to wrap around, is a more rounded grip frame. Well, that was John Browning's idea with the center point of swell in the 1911 grip panels. This is generally a good thing when you create from this rectangle this more this shape that more approximates this, and it's the shape the hand wants and likes to make. Well, with the back strap and the front strap finger grooved like this plain pair of wood panel grips, these are actually in cherry, have them in walnut, have them in maple, these are working grips. And that simple, smooth, but good center point of swell feature, this is a very comfortable, secure, and compelling thing. Now, a lot of guys, I would say nostalgia guys, you guys will like to know these are linseed oil finished only grips. Now, the cool thing that, and a lot of you guys that were in the military that back in the day, you understand what that means is if I ding this up, if I mess up the finish, if my sweat gets to it, whatever, and if I've got a little boiled linseed oil, I can have these back to good as new by halftime of the first game on Sunday. And that's what these are all about. They're not intended to be presentation grips. These are working grips, and these are intended to not be in the box. They're intended to be something a guy wants on his gun because of what they are. Again, options. You'll notice on the Kimbers, Kimber does not do anything on the front strap. That doesn't, frankly, do a lot for me as far as an affirmative grip hold, correct hand placement, as much as I would like for it to be. These are beautiful presentation grips, and adding that under grip front strap is just as simple as going under your grip like that, and then the grip panel goes back on and your grip screws, and that just changes everything. Not only these are some fairly flat profiled grips, it gives them a little more fullness in the hand that the hand tends to like. Again, options, and these options are intended to be so a guy can try all kinds of different combinations. This one, this is a Fusion 3-inch 1911 that we redid in the BH custom shop. A lot of guys would like a grip like that. It has, again, very, very aggressive front dots. My preference would be to put a finger groove front strap around that, and it would be very comfortable. So this is the whole focus, is to give options so that a guy can try several different things in his 1911 carry handgun. Two more products that we are really, really proud of, and I'm going to take you back to earlier in the 1911 series on the short barrels, and we had particularly some rough moments with the Kimber, and the rough moments were not actual malfunctions, but these tended to extract directly back at the shooter. So I had them popping off my forehead, off my glasses, down my shirt, and the other shooters did as well. And it was it's a nuance of the Kimber 3-inch Ultra Carry 2 that we've heard from other Kimber owners, and they've had the very same experience. We engineered a outer recoil spring, and it's now part of an entire optimized spring kit product that we have now at BH Spring Solutions. That product is here,
And we also have replacement recoil springs as well. These are outer recoil springs. These are the ones you really need to change about every 700-800 rounds. We sell them in 5-packs, we sell them in singles, and the most recommended would be the full spring kit replacement. And this spring kit is good to go in your Kimber 3-inch Ultra Carry 2s, your Magnum Research, it's called an MR1911U, and also Fusion, United States company. They have a 3-inch barrel, same recipe in that spring kit, and there's some other 3-inch barrel models from other makers. The specific thing you're looking for there is these are 2 recoil spring assemblies where you have an inner spring and an outer spring. The inner spring tends to get much longer life, about 3 or 4 times at least as much as the outer recoil spring. The outer recoil spring is the one that is critical to keeping that spring fresh, because it has everything to do with correct slide cycle rate, proper extraction, and proper feeding, and finally the slide going back into forward battery affirmatively. Now this hunk of rock was one of our participants in our 6-way shootout and was disqualified after 14 rounds with the OEM springs. We failed to go into battery 3 times within about 10 rounds. And the outer recoil spring was spent at that point. We went ahead, re-engineered the outer recoil spring for this handgun, and I recently put 150 rounds through this hunk of rock. If it would have had our springs during the competition, it wouldn't have been eliminated for cause. I put 150 rounds. The outer recoil spring we prescribed and installed, along with our other springs, it has functioned perfectly. We've had no stoppages, we've had no malfunctions, and you know, these are popular little guns, and a lot of people consider them a novelty. They're awfully thick. You do get 10 rounds of 45 in a package that size, and my gosh, that's a compelling case, you know, for this. And I'm sure Rock Island has sold a lot of them, and you know, some guys may shy away from this. It may sit in the safe, it may not be considered, and you know, for me, it's a little too thick for me to be wanting to put into a holster. But, you know, hey, they have their application. If you can get confident with them, if you can trust them, if they function well, and they prove themselves to you, you may have an application in your life for this to be, you know, somewhere as a defensive gun or a backup handgun. We have those specifically for the Rock Island M1911A2, aka Hunk of Rock. In full spring kits, optimizing kits, we have 5-packs of that outer recoil spring and single packs of that outer recoil spring. Again, the secret we found to these, it all just kept coming back. You know, we had our share of malfunctions. The Fusion did not function reliably out of the box and actually exhibited multiple different malfunctions. It was the same thing. We went right back to slide cycle rate. We corrected it, and function and reliability corrected when we did that. And since we have, in many of these handguns that you're seeing here, since we went to the BH optimized springs, I believe we've had 0 malfunctions out of any of these. And that is, number one, a testament to the 1911 design. It's the way it ought to be with a 1911 design handgun. These handguns are highly, highly, highly appealing to concealed carry folks, and myself included. And part of the reason I like carrying, the convenience of carrying something this size, because I can have a real backup plan. If it's not my primary plan, I can have a real backup plan. It's super concealable, even in a carry bag or inside the waistband. And so I admit I had some self-interest in this, because the appeal of carrying this size of a defensive handgun and being able to be confident in its reliability, in its performance, in its accuracy, it means something to me. And I think it means something to a lot of guys, because the popularity of these models in terms of sales has been well documented. And but when you go online, you get on the forums, you start reading, it's the same thing over and over again. It's, you know, I had, you know, malfunctions and reliability problems, and I had to do this, I had to do that with my short barrel, you know, whatever it is. And it's just sort of a common thread. And in a lot of ways, it's caused the manufacturers, I think, to shy away from this segment of the 1911 market in terms of making what we would call premium 1911s in a short barrel for carry and in 45 ACP. Folks, thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Allen, BH Spring Solutions LLC, bhspringsolutions.com.